Two St. Louis exhibitions that you won't want to miss. That's next on City Corner. I'm Steve Potter, and welcome to City Corner. We're going to be talking today about two exhibitions in St. Louis that are very interesting and very different. Coming up a little later, it's the International Photography Hall of Fame and Museum. But first, we want to talk about the St. Louis Artists Guild. And I'd like you to meet Zachary Petot and Maria Ojascastro. Welcome both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The St. Louis Artists Guild, it's been around for a while.
Yes, we just celebrated our 136th year as an organization.
You said 136.
Exactly. We have been around for a while, but we are innovating and changing exhibitions here in St. Louis.
And Zachary, what kind of artist are you?
I'm a printmaker myself, so screen printing and intaglio and anything printmaking, I'm there.
And Maria, how are you attached to this?
I am part of the exhibit that will be opening in January called the Mandala Project.
And tell me what kind of artist you are.
I am a mixed media artist, and I've been a part of the St. Louis artist community for over 35 years. So I do both arts and healing work throughout the community, and I collaborate with many artists.
So is it Mandala or Mandela?
Yes.
Really? You can do it either way?
Yes.
Good enough for me.
I hear pronounced both ways, and I switch between them.
Okay, so if I say Mandela, that's what I'm used to saying. That's okay. This is going to be January, from the end of January to February the 11th. And what's it all about, Zachary?
The exhibition series during that time focuses on artists that are using art as a way of kind of healing in a sense. So with the Mandala Project, bringing this collaborative into the Guild to showcase their pieces that each person, I think, is bringing some aspect to it that's like helping them in some sense. Along with another show we have is an abstract show called Visions of Space, which will be focusing on international artists and regional artists that are dealing with abstract art, which can also be healing for them, expressing emotions and stuff through art. And then we'll also have a community art wall.
Maria, when Zachary mentioned the healing process, it really hit home to you. And it's just by coincidence, I just recently did a City Corner with story stitchers who address violence and gun violence. And they did a program recently about the school shooting in St. Louis. And you have an unbelievable connection to that.
I was there on the day of the shooting, and actually Zach reached out to me soon after and said, oh, there's this interview we want to do, and I said, I can't think about that right now. I was in the school shooting. It was, my classroom was next door to the teacher who was killed. So everything that has been in the news somewhere else is very close to home in our community. I've been part of the St. Louis arts community for over 35 years. So anyone that's been part of the St. Louis Artists Guild, Art St. Louis, Washington University, Webster University, have all been touched by this because I have connections to that. I've heard from people from all the way back from St. Catherine Labouré, St. Joseph's Academy, from Washington University, from St. Mary's Colleges, all schools that I've been to, they've reached out to me. And I do art for well-being in lots of different communities. Later on today, I'm going to be teaching men who are incarcerated. And early this week, on Monday, I taught cancer survivors at the cancer support community.
I can't even imagine what you went through, but it's wonderful how art can heal. And that was the whole point of the story stitchers too, because they do song and dance and other things, and their whole point is healing too, and that's what you guys are doing in a different way.
Yes, we are, the Mandala Project, we came together as a collective over about a year and a half ago. It's like, oh, here's people who are like-minded, that we believe in, that our world is not about us, it's about we are connected, and we feel like the arts can heal a lot in the community, including violence. And it just so happened that now I've been on the little bit on the outside, going into prisons. Being there where so many were affected by gun violence, over 400 students, about 50 staff members, and we are already healing through the arts. After the two funerals happened in the last week, we came together on Sunday with visual arts, song and dance and acting. The kids said, "We're going to put on a show.
Right.
We're going to sing. We're going to dance. We're going to heal through the arts." And we get to do healing and talking about our grief and what we believe in through the arts.
And it helps. Let's take a couple. We have some images from the Mandala Project in January and February. I want to share with it. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about the artist and what their message is. So let's take a look at a couple here first. And just either one of you, just jump in.
Sure. Okay. So all the works in the January exhibit are on either canvas or board. This is on a canvas, and every single artist in our group has worked on it. Go ahead and go to the next image. The artists who are in our group are Gray Finch, Nancy Early, Mary Beth Tipton, Valeria Priatova, and me, Maria Ojascastro. The next image. So the way we started is that each of artists bought a canvas and they started on it. And then when they had worked a few hours on it, they dropped it off at my studio, and then a next artist would come and pick it up. And then after they finished, it would return to me. So this was a round robin. Every single one of us worked on it, and it's really we had to trust each other, and we had to let go of being possessive over this is what we made.
I love the colors. Very, very flowing feel to it.
Yes.
I want to ask you something, Zachary. Recently, you guys did something else. You had a collector's choice. What was that all about?
Yes, so that's our annual fundraiser that we do at the St. Louis Artists Guild. We ask members and artists within the community to donate a piece of artwork for us to essentially raffle off. It's a luck of the draw situation, so ticket holders will end up leaving that night with a piece of artwork. So this year we had 158 pieces donated, and all of those works of art left the Guild, and we raised a substantial amount of money that helps us keep our programming going.
Let's look at some more images from the Mandala Project. I think I say it differently each time. That's your fault, Maria.
Yes. So the answer is yes. If you say it two different ways, it's okay.
Okay, we just saw this one, I think.
Yes.
There we go. What can you tell me about this?
Okay, so this one is the first layer was orange, and then I went over it with a jelly plate print, which is a relatively new way of printmaking.
Yes.
And then the next artist came and worked with acrylic paint on top of that. And then another artist came along with spray paint and stencils. And then the last artist came along and tightened it up with more paint.
Can you do this if you're a control freak? I might have problems.
No. We really had to trust each other.
Let's look at the next one.
And I also think that these artists doing this round robin thing, they're relinquishing some of their ego to some extent. And they're also, you guys work extremely well collaboratively. So all these pieces have their own unique elements, but allowing them to flow like this one, the colors all really go well together, creating a unique composition for viewers to see.
Let's look at one more.
And one thing, two things that we all have in common is that none of us like to work monochromatically. So color is very important to us, and a lot of design decisions are based on color and texture.
Zachary, let me ask you on another note. I know you've got some other things going on at the St. Louis Artists Guild, visions of form and space, and you have a community painting wall too.
Yes. So the Visions of Form and Space will be a national juried exhibition. The juror is going to be Brian Smith, who is a professor out at St. Charles Community College, who also is a gallery director out there. So he will be selecting around 70 pieces to be in the gallery to accompany the Mandala Project. And then our community painting wall will be in our entryway. So guests will be able to come in and paint on the wall.
Let's take a look at one more image from the Mandala Project, which goes up in January through February the 11th at the St. Louis Artists Guild. You know, they're all different, but there's
Yes.
a similarity to them all.
Yes, because the 5 artists worked in every single one of these. And this is one of my favorite pieces because it was heavily textured paint on as the first layer, and in acrylic. And then another artist went through with a lot of vine work, looking at actual vines, and then another artist was looking at the flowers in my garden, and the black circular image on the bottom that is a silhouette of one of my sunflowers in my garden, one of my 6 foot tall sunflowers, but after it had already bloomed and died back and started to go to seed. So this has been all the artwork has been worked on over the last 6 months. So you really see the seasons changing through our work.
Zachary, how does this organization really change things for St. Louis artists? What does it do for them?
So our focus is, we're focusing on artists here in St. Louis for artists that are here, but we want to focus on them to allow them a moment.
So
here in the
people, whether
community.
you're an artist or not, should come down to the St. Louis Artists Guild.
Yes.
And you're in Clayton, right?
Yes, we are located in Clayton.
Right. Well, thank you both for being here. It looks like a great exhibit and a wonderful experience.
Thank you.
Maria, Zachary, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back, and we're going to talk about the International Photography Hall of Fame and Museum, and I know you two both want to go, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I can't wait to see it.
All right, that's in our second segment. We'll be right back with more City Corner.
There's so many reasons to love St. Louis, you can't pick just one. From the arts, architecture, and culture. An all-new development, including the Cortex Community Center. And you're never too far from great music and entertainment.
So come and experience St. Louis.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it here. So what are you waiting for? Just go to the site.
Operation Wonder Park is a go!
There's nothing more powerful than imagination. But don't just imagine. Use STEM to change the world.
Who's with me?
It's gonna hurt tomorrow.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
Zachary Botanical Garden is loved by green thumbs and non-gardening types alike because you can play. You can relax. And there's always something new to experience, no matter the time of day or the season. And learn about conservation and one-of-a-kind plants. So come and experience St. Louis.
I'm Steve Potter. Welcome back to City Corner. Well, we have another exhibition that you want to put on your list of things to do. Please welcome our guest today. It's Patty Wente. She is the CEO and president of the International Photography Hall of Fame and Museum. Patty, welcome to the program.
Hi, it's great to be here.
I have to ask you, wait, this is in St. Louis, in Grand Center. International? How can the International be here?
Yeah, because way before I got here, they did a national search when it was housed in Oklahoma City, and the individual that owned the building didn't leave a provision for the International Photography Hall of Fame. Did a nationwide search. St. Louis has, they scored #1 on several counts, one being 12 institutional organizations in St. Louis have photographic arts as part of their track, and there are different galleries and photographic opportunities in the St. Louis metropolitan area. So they scored high.
So is it primarily St. Louis area artists or not?
No,
When I
it
say
is
artists,
not.
photographers.
It is international, definitely.
But I know you do work with a lot of local photographers
We
too.
do. We bring in and help promote the growth and the development of different photographers. But mostly we exhibit works from the International Photography Hall of Fame. In our collections, we have over 30,000 images and over 8,000 cameras. And we try to rotate things and try to educate through photography. There are 121 inductees to the Hall of Fame now. We just recently inducted 8 individuals to the Hall of Fame, and that's an exciting thing for us.
That's what we're going to talk about right now, because you recently had your induction and awards exhibition open, the 2022. And here's some images, so talk
That's
about
like Graciela Iturbide. I had to pronounce that. I had to work on that name. She's from Mexico City, and she takes images with individuals, and it's in landscape forms like this one. The next image, I'm trying to think of, we've got Sarah Moon, who is from France, Paris, who actually came in. She was inducted as well. And they're just different images that came forward that anyone can see right now at the Hall of Fame.
Let me ask you, before we look at some more, what does it take to be inducted? I mean, what does a photographer have to accomplish to qualify?
They need to get nominated. You can do it online with IPHF, but there's an induction committee, and I have nothing to do with it. That's why it's such a wonderful, we've got some really talented people internationally that are on the committee to select individuals of high caliber.
Last year, I think it was last year, I did a show on an exhibition that you had, and Jerry Tovo came on, and he had a show about homeless veterans, and I just remembered it so well because it was such
Riveting.
great work. Riveting is a good word.
Definitely riveting. It's something that you want to stand and see in the faces of these individuals, and he spent so long trying to record their thoughts and their images, and he did a great job. And that's a local individual that we showcased.
Neat thing about photographers, they're just like a painting artist. Each one has their own distinct style, and it just leaves you with a different impression, doesn't it?
It's true. Photographic arts they're marvelous. Now, it knows no language. There was a exhibition with Hiroshima and the different terrible things that happened with the nuclear attack. And an elderly woman in her 90s came up with her family, Japanese, and she was standing there, and she had tears going on. She didn't know any English. Her family was there to comfort her, but it was a photo that she recognized the place and where's the emotion that came from her that flooded through her just through the image. And when they say a photo is worth 1,000,000, whatever words, they're right.
Well, we're talking about a current exhibition at the International Photography Hall of Fame and Museum, and these were photographers that were inducted in the recent awards exhibition, so people can see this now. Why don't we look at a few more
All right.
and share with what you know?
Well, we have different images that different photographers took. Let me tell you, Edward Bertinsky is somebody from Canada.
This looks a little solemn.
Yes, it is. I know we have Sarah Moon has got a bird image or something coming up. What do we have next?
We can go to the next one.
Yeah, and you've got Chester Higgins, who did a lot of multicultural, he heightened cultural awareness through his photography. And Chester, they were all here. So 2 years of doing this virtually after doing it live.
All right.
Everyone came in, everybody. And it was wonderful. And except for one, Helen Levitt, who's deceased, and her great niece came in. So it was well attended, and it was just fun to see everybody again. And so that's a Chester Higgins shot. And let's see what the next one might be. I think there's Sarah Moon from Paris. She's a fashion photographer. And
I could almost see you wearing that.
see, I'm telling you, it's fun. I think so. So anyways, if you go to IPHF at Grand Center, you can see several of her images, and that's one of them.
Let me ask you about a couple of things that you guys are involved in. The Sister City Collaborative.
Yes.
Explain what that is.
Well, so we show, we worked with the Trade Center, the World Trade Center, to find sister cities, and we try to have photographers go there.
And this is in a different country.
Yes, at China. So we have, this particular one was Nanjing, China, and we did an exchange of sending photographers there, and they had photographers come here, and we were able to exhibit what they had and vice versa. So that was a trip. The other one that was really significant was, I would say, Frida Kahlo. And when we had the exchange with Mexico City, that was a real, that was very well attended.
I'm wondering who comes by the International Photography Hall of Fame and Museum. Probably a lot of local people, but since you're featuring photographers from all over the world and everywhere, I imagine on occasion you really get some out-of-town visitors, don't you?
We had people drive from New York to come to our event Saturday, this past week.
No kidding.
And going forward, we had Vivian Meyer that showed, and we had people flying in from London that stayed at the hotel next door to actually see the exhibition, which was really fun. So,
wow.
Oh yeah, they do come from everywhere.
I probably know the answer to this, but what competes with you? I don't mean here in St. Louis.
We're the only one. We're the only International Photography Hall of Fame in the world. No, there are no competitors.
Do you find, is the interest in photography growing, or is it just same as it always, because technology changes? I'm just kind of curious.
It has definitely ballooned, and now everybody's a photographer. And how do
I was going to say, I think I am too with my phone.
Yeah, and they're developing better and better lenses on the phones so that you can see better and better. And the images, many of our inductees use a cell phone depending on what they're taking and where they're going. Not everybody's like that. I'd say the people that are hurting the most are probably the camera dealers who are selling fewer cameras. But the interest in photoshopping and the things that you can do to create your own imagery has just really ballooned.
Is there a limit on that kind of stuff? Photoshopping, like I could see a little bit, maybe if you use it too much, it's not authentic. What are the rules?
That's a good question. Ask your lawyer. No, I think everybody, what you shoot is and you put your name on is what, it's yours. Getting permissions, just like always, trying to get permissions and blessings from different people when you're taking photos, like Jerry Tovo's exhibition for the Vietnam veterans. Mm-hmm. He got permission from everybody to use their image. But at any rate, I think the same rules apply. You have to be delicate, walk softly, and not misrepresent anyone.
That makes sense. We have a few images left from this current exhibition, people who were just recently inducted. Why don't we look at them now?
And there you go. And that is definitely, that's a Sarah Moon shot of...
I'm having a hard time
it's like an
figuring
eagle,
this out.
And it's flying. And both of its wings are going a particular way.
That's really...
That's a silver print. It's beautiful. It's at IPHF. Come see it. What's the next image? That's another Sarah Moon shot, another silver print. Definitely a fashion photographer. She shows everywhere, and she's been honored and hailed worldwide in the last year.
And I think we've got another one.
And there's another silver print. So I think you picked a lot of Sarah. Sarah Moon is everywhere. She does do landscape, some landscape, but mostly her forte and niche is definitely is fashion.
Now, this current exhibition is up until February 11th, I think.
Correct.
Right.
You got it.
What do we need to know about when you guys are open, and what's the best way to?
So post-COVID, right now we're Wednesday through Saturday, 11 to 5, and we can schedule by appointment. There are people that do fly into St. Louis that want to see things, and so we make provisions if somebody
How big
calls.
is your space? What's your space like?
It's 8,000 square feet.
That's big.
It is. It's wonderful. Come and see us.
I will. You do other things too besides, there's your address, 3415 Olive. That's
We do virtual programming and classes and workshops. So during the pandemic, we pivoted with our live workshops and lectures to be able to provide them. And you would think, okay, who really wants that? You know, you're in St. Louis, you've got New York, you've got LA, you've got Chicago. People are tuning in. So we've had 32 states. One of our biggest encounters was 32 states worth and 4 different countries of people participating. I mean, Australia, we're talking Canada, Europe. It's crazy, but people love photography.
You have a lecture coming up, I think it's February the 2nd, Picturing Identity. What's that about?
Scott Angus. Yeah, you have to come see. But
Well, give me a little tease.
that was it. I think Scott likes to take photos of street photography, and so he kind of you can find yourself through some of his photography.
Do enough people in St. Louis know about the International Photography Hall of Fame and Museum? And if not, why?
Because I think it is a little gem. It's like a hidden gem in our community. I think as a small nonprofit, we just acquired it 9 years ago to St. Louis, and it spent most of its 50+ years life in Illinois. It went to Santa Barbara, it went through Oklahoma City, where it stayed there mostly, and it came here. And I think, gosh, a multi-million-dollar promotion budget would be wonderful.
Okay. We'll see if we can help you with that. Patty Wente, thank you so much for joining us.
having me.
It's the International Photography Hall of Fame and Museum. If you haven't been there, it's in Grand Center on Olive. Look it up, go to their website and figure it out and go see it. Patty, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Potter. Well, we have had some suggestions for you for things to do, so do them and join us next time on City Corner. Thanks.